The reports are out that the UFC asked Tom Aspinall to vacate the title until he was ready to go. And he said he'd be willing to vacate the title as long as they released him.
I was very disappointed. Yeah, very disappointed.
Have you spoken to him since?
No.
Is that disappointing?
I've spoken to the UFC since, but I've not spoken to, me and Dana don't really speak like that anyway, so.
The drama in the UFC heavyweight division continues as news is coming that UFC has asked champ Tom Aspinall to vacate the belt, and the Englishman is also fed up with such behavior from the promotion. Josh Thompson was the one who dropped a bombshell that sent waves through the MMA community. He reveals that the UFC reportedly asked Tom Aspinall to vacate his title while he waits to compete again, and says Aspinall would agree only if he were granted his release. Thompson presents it as a stunning development, one that adds even more uncertainty to a heavyweight division many already see as stuck in limbo.
The reports are out that the UFC asked Tom Aspinall to vacate the title until he was ready to go. And he said he'd be willing to vacate the title as long as they released him. Now, that opens the door so he can go ahead and box. This is a really weird situation. The heavyweight division is just a total right now. And it's been a show since the John Jones coming in, not wanting to fight, the interim champion, which was Tom Aspinall at the time, and then fighting Stipe. No disrespect to Stipe, but it was just, John had something in mind, and the UFC didn't squash that. They allowed that fight to happen, and it just led into this thing where the heavyweight division's been on hold since the John Jones debacle, I guess you would call it.
Josh Thompson paints a bleak picture of the UFC landscape. He says major exits and long layoffs have left the heavyweight class in chaos, and with uncertainty surrounding names like John Jones and Tom Aspinall, he believes the division is in worse shape than ever. Thompson even extends that concern to light heavyweight, arguing that categories that once carried the promotion no longer provide the same stability. In his eyes, the lighter weight groups are now the ones truly driving the sport forward, while the old pillars struggle to hold up.
Bottom line is, Jailton Almeida is gone. Okay, they just released him. Tom Aspinall, if he is gone, John Jones doesn't seem like he's coming back, especially not to the heavyweight division. We have a mess. We have a disaster on our hands. The heavyweight division and the 205-pound division, the light heavyweight division, both weight classes are the worst that they've ever been. And these used to be the pillars. This used to be what would carry the promotion. When the merger of Strikeforce and the UFC happened, the heavyweight division was the strongest it had ever been. And the light heavyweight division, honestly, UFC was built off of the light heavyweight division. This is wild to me, man. The 135, 145, 155, and 170 right now are carrying the sport of MMA and definitely carrying the UFC. More to come.
Tom Aspinall also reveals why he hates the fight business as he separates his passion for competing from his frustration with how the industry operates. While his love for MMA remains strong, he feels promoters can treat athletes as disposable and rarely prioritize their long-term well-being. From his perspective, even serious risks inside the cage don't always lead to real care or accountability, and that reality leaves him disillusioned with the business side of the sport. Tom Aspinall said, "I'll never stop loving MMA, but I just hate the business. I think that fighters are completely replaceable, and the business will make you feel like that any chance it gets. Even if you get hit with an illegal move, which could affect the rest of your life, they don't really give a and no one else does either." Tom Aspinall reveals that Dana White hasn't contacted him at all since the fight with Ciryl Gane. He expresses disappointment after hearing public updates suggesting his eye was fine, explaining that those claims weren't true. He feels let down because he has done a lot for the UFC and expected better communication during a serious injury situation.
It surprises me a little bit, the face of the UK fight scene, all that stuff. It surprises me that you have no kind of relationship with him.
Yeah, I don't really know what to say. That's the way it is.
Has he sent you a text or DM in the aftermath? Hope you're feeling better.
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. He actually, like I said, he started giving updates that there was nothing wrong with my eye when that isn't the case. So I've done a lot for the UFC. So yeah, disappointing.
Do you feel let down?
I have been in contact with the UFC, so it's not like Dana isn't the whole promotion. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have a close relationship with Dana anyway.
Do you feel like they've taken care of you, the organization?
Not really.
Is that frustrating?
disappointing, mate.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Tom Aspinall's career is in serious jeopardy as he continues to struggle months after his eye injury. His vision remains impaired, causing double vision, vertigo, and severe balance problems, making even basic tasks like hitting pads, using his phone, or playing with his kids extremely difficult. Multiple surgeries, prescription changes, and constant medical care have been necessary, highlighting just how drastically the injury has affected both his career and daily life. Peter Carroll said, "I accompanied UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall to double eye surgery on Tuesday. The procedure took place 108 days after UFC 321. Since then, his life has changed dramatically. His fighting future is as hazy as his sight." Tom Aspinall opens up about the physical struggles he's dealing with in training. When he tries to shift angles or change direction, he says the sensation can be overwhelming, almost like losing his balance on unstable ground. The dizziness makes it hard to lock in on his target, leaving him frustrated as he works to regain full control of his movement. "Every time I try to change direction, it's very disorienting," admits Aspinall, recalling his attempt at pad work. "The best way I can describe it is that it feels like I'm standing on a boat. I get really dizzy, and it's very difficult to focus on the area I'm attacking. It's like I don't know where I'm going." Michael Bisping also commented on Tom Aspinall's double eye surgery, saying it was difficult to watch and emphasizing that the situation was not Aspinall's fault. He explained that he was speaking as someone who admires Tom's skill and potential rather than as a personal friend. Bisping highlighted that many critics misunderstood how serious the injury was, pointing out that the eye poke against Ciryl Gane left Aspinall unable to see properly. Stopping the fight under those conditions, he said, was completely justified, even if the crowd reacted negatively.
They said if it wasn't going to improve, then eventually he would need surgery, and lo and behold, here we are, right? When you look at that picture, which I'm doing right now, I mean, it's not nice to see. It really isn't, and it's not his fault, right? And I'm not defending Tom because I'm a friend of his, and I don't really even talk to Tom very much. We're not even friends like that. I was always an admirer of Tom's work, and I believed in his potential. A lot of people are talking because against Ciryl Gane, the fight was a competitive fight, okay? And then the eye pokes happened, and you can't deny the eye pokes. Simple as that. And people have always said, well, you don't say that you can't see. Well, that's all well and good unless you can't actually see. Because if you can't see, I think you're allowed to say, whoa, never mind the fight, I can't see.
Tom Aspinall received a lot of criticism, and he addressed his critics after the eye injury, describing the experience as overwhelming. He admitted that negativity comes with competing at the highest level, but expressed frustration that some people truly thought he faked it. Aspinall made it clear the eye poke was serious and real, pointing out that many hadn't even watched the replay before jumping to conclusions.
It's been a bit of a whirlwind, to be honest with you, because I know there's a lot of haters out there. Of course, this is professional sport at the highest level. We have haters. But when the eye poke happened, obviously, eye pokes happen all the time in MMA, unfortunately. And got the eye poke. Obviously, everything went on from there. Went to the hospital, returned home. Didn't even check my phone or nothing for a while. And then I realized people genuinely think that I faked this. People actually think that I was faking it. And then I was like, did people actually see the replay of what happened? Because that was a full-on eye poke.
Tom Aspinall was shocked by how many people doubted his injury. After undergoing extensive testing and visiting the hospital multiple times each week, he prepared a full doctor's report to show what had happened. Despite this, some accused him of exaggerating or seeking attention. Tom expressed frustration at those who ignored the medical evidence and replayed footage, calling them haters with nothing better to do, while emphasizing his appreciation for the fans who stayed supportive and followed his updates throughout the ordeal.
What is going on? Why are people thinking I'm faking this, after everything that I've been through to get there? So then I left it quite a while. I thought, right, I'm going to get all the doctor's notes included. I've been through it for loads and loads of tests for weeks. I've literally been in the hospital 2 or 3 times a week getting different tests. Then I come up with a doctor's report, and then people are like, oh, he's crying about it. He's doing a media tour on it. He's milking it. And I'm like, bro, if you don't believe the eye poke and you don't believe the doctor's reports, what are we doing? What's going on here? I didn't make this. Go watch the replay, check out the doctor's reports. Look, man, I'm in a point where you just cannot please these guys. These guys are losers, man. These guys are just crazy haters who have got nothing good going on in their life. Obviously, I still got a lot of fans. I wanted to keep my fans updated with what's gone on, and I appreciate everybody that's stuck by me.
Wade Plemons also reacts to Tom Aspinall's health with serious concern, stressing that the situation is far more difficult than most realize. He challenges anyone claiming Tom quit or faked the injury, noting that if the diagnosis is truly Brown's syndrome, it could be irreversible. Plemons warns that a condition like this might not only limit Aspinall in the cage, but could potentially put his entire career at risk. Wade Plemons said, "Holy sh*, this is serious. For all the people that said Tom was a quitter or faking it if he really has Brown syndrome, IDK if that can even be resolved, and that severely hamper him fighting to the point that his fighting career is essentially over." Meanwhile, Tom Aspinall maintains that Ciryl Gane's eye poke wasn't accidental, claiming it was part of a deliberate pattern. After reviewing the fight, he says Gane repeatedly targeted his eyes whenever exchanges got intense, suggesting it was a calculated tactic rather than a one-time mistake. Aspinall even points to Jon Jones's previous warning about Gane's tendencies, reinforcing his belief that the move was intentional and meant to compromise him.
Look, when I watched the fight back, that's when I really got the gist of what's going on. The guy was trying to my eyes out all the way through that round. Multiple exchanges, nearly every exchange that I could put him in danger. He had his fingers out pointing towards my eyes. The guy was cheating from the first second, and the way that he wanted to win that fight was to have me compromised by cheating. My thoughts on him, I think he's a big cheater. Look at all his fights, even Jon Jones himself, even the GOAT himself said before he fought him that Ciryl Gane's a cheater and uses dirty tactics.
Tom Aspinall responded to fans who thought he was losing to Ciryl Gane, explaining that everything was part of his strategy. He deliberately stayed within striking range, taking some punches to create openings for his own attacks and keep his game plan on track.
I felt like the fight was going okay. It was going pretty much to plan. I think that, look, there was this big notion in the media before that I'm just going to run through Ciryl Gane. Look, I might look like an idiot. Sometimes I might even talk like an idiot, but when it comes to fighting, I know what I'm talking about, and I know that Ciryl Gane is a tough matchup for me. Really good defensively. I knew that if we want to break the fight down a little bit, Cyryl's got really good defense. He moves really, really well on his feet. I knew that I have to stand in range and take a few punches from Ciryl to be able to land my own shots. I thought it was going to be a 5-round fight. Go and look at my pre-fight stuff. I knew this was going to be a long and tough fight.
After that unwanted incident, a lot of MMA stars also reacted to Aspinall's situation after the fight eye poke incident. Sean O'Malley expressed sympathy for Tom Aspinall, feeling the eye poke robbed him of a huge opportunity. He imagined how a win might have set up a blockbuster fight with Jon Jones and revitalized the heavyweight division. O'Malley also reflected on the division's uncertainty, pointing out that neither Jones nor Alex Pereira seemed eager to face Aspinall, leaving more questions than answers about what comes next.
What could have been if Tom Aspinall goes out there and wins? What happens to his career after that? That's the Jon Jones potential fight at the White House. Like, there's so much that Tom missed out on because of that. It's super unfortunate, sad, and it would have made the heavyweight division it would have made it a lot more fun. I mean, the whole division's been so crazy with Jon Jones. You know, he defended an interim belt, Tom Aspinall. It's like, what do you? I mean, Jon Jones is done. Alex Pereira, he's probably not moving up to heavyweight. Like, you just rematch that fight. You know, the crowd was insanely loud, so it was like, I guess it was a big fight, but do you watch it again? Do you make that fight again? Jon doesn't want to fight Tom. Alex doesn't want to fight Tom. Ah, man, yeah, I don't even know what you do with that fight. I think Dana said he's going to make a rematch.
Paul Felder admits he was first frustrated by the eye poke, thinking Tom Aspinall should have kept going in the heavyweight title fight. But once he saw the damage and realized both of Aspinall's eyes were affected, his view shifted. Felder explains that only Aspinall truly knew how compromised his vision was, and taking on a precise striker like Ciryl Gane under those conditions would have been extremely risky. In the end, Felder says stopping the fight was the smartest and safest decision.
I was as disappointed as anybody else, and I think at first I really was kind of on the side of, man, Tom, like, come on, you got to step up. This is a main event, this heavyweight title. Take this as much time as you need, but get back in there. I think when I saw the poke and how bad it was and the fact that it compromised both eyes, it was ugly. And you're right, that only Tom Aspinall really knows, could he have continued? And I think I talked to a few people about this, and somebody brought up a really good point to me, that let's say that he could kind of see, but it was not great 100%. And you're in there with a guy like Ciryl Gane, who's on point. He's on point. You haven't been in the octagon in a really long time. And now you're compromised. And even if you maybe can continue, you know, I think there was a part of it that was like, I'm not fighting this guy with not 100% vision.
Arnold Allen reflects on the backlash Tom Aspinall faced over his eye injuries, saying he truly sympathizes and doesn't think Tom quit. He notes that the more a fighter explains what happened, the less attention fans give, as context often gets ignored. Instead of support, Allen points out that many younger fans are quick to call fighters inactive, highlighting just how unforgiving the sport's audience has become.
Such a tough one, because I really feel for him, and I don't think he definitely didn't quit. And he's definitely not like, you know, whatever. He's like, I don't think he's lying about his situation. But the more you put it out there and the people don't want to hear it, people don't care, right? This is what I know. Obviously my situation is quite different, but like, I know when I've been injured, if I put a video out there like doing rehab work, saying what I'm planning to come back or something, people don't give it. They just hear, people just hear you whining. You say, oh, I'm hoping to fight soon, but I'm still injured. People don't like, most fans don't go like, hope you're okay, like, you know, see you soon. They'll be like, ah, inactive, you know. So I think that's just the kind of we're dealing with these days. With like young fans maybe.
On the other hand, Anthony Smith expressed frustration over the fight's outcome, saying he had wanted to see Tom Aspinall face real challenges and adapt under pressure. He was curious how Tom would respond if his initial strategy didn't work, whether he would rely on wrestling or stand with Ciryl Gane for the full fight. Instead, Smith felt the situation left him without answers, sharing the same disappointment as the fans watching.
No, I'm just disappointed. I'm disappointed. I talked all day yesterday. Like, I just want to see Tom have to overcome some adversity. I want to see what he does when when his first plan of action doesn't work. What's he checked down to? Is he gonna wrestle? Can he compete with Ciryl Gane on his feet for 25 minutes? And I don't get any of those answers, and just like everybody at home, I'm disappointed.
That wraps up today's video, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more MMA updates and reactions.